Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
So
I
before we
have to. I'm just telling you, I have to hold my phone because I need to have it plugged in because I've been on it.
okay, you hear me?
I can't turn it sideways. You know what I mean? I got the charger in the bottom because
Oh,
I'm about to run out of juice. Uh, and I tried to get you on my iPad, but
yeah,
you didn't want to work. Let me see. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah. So before we start, I know that you recently had surgery. So how is the recovery coming along?
I had surgery on my knee for knee replacement surgery. Today's the first day I've gone almost all day without a walker, without a cane, just walking on my own. So I'm doing very well. Thank you so much.
Oh, anytime. Do you have the infamous Luenell nails on? Cause I know we're quarantined with the nail shops being closed. Do you get a chance to get your infamous nails done?
No, I'm not even thinking about that because that is for my audience and stuff like that. And there's no reason for me in a quarantine to spend that kind of money, when I'm just sitting at home. That doesn't make no sense. When it's time for me to go back out and perform, then I will be all glam back up and everything like that. But as of right now, no. And anybody asking me about that obviously has not been keeping up with me because I haven't had my nails for over 7 months now.
So, so before I get into your 30-year phenomenal career, like we know the funny new Luenell. So recently, well, last week we saw the vulnerable side of you on Ayala Saved My Life. What did you how how hard was it for you to let your guard down to let us see that side of you?
Well, first is Ayanla fixed my life, not Ayanla saved my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it was difficult because sometimes when you're in the entertainment industry, you put your persona before your home persona, and you want to be perceived as something when you're really another way. And I didn't think anybody would pay any attention to me as just being a vulnerable woman anyway. And the only person who really needed to pay any attention to that would be my daughter. So, we took a little bit of offense to the word abandon when a discussion was had by her father and myself, and agreed upon that I should go on to LA and try to do what it was I was trying to do because it was pretty known around the Bay Area that I was, the fam and really was not fake at what I was trying to do. And he said, I got to baby me and his mother, her grandmother, and her aunt. They kept her very well educated, very well clothed. It wasn't like I dropped her off on the doorstep. I would come back to see her often, paid for a lot of stuff. But the fact that, you know, let's say you start your period and your mom's not around, or let's say you sing your first dance, your first recital at church, which her first recital was when she was like 5, and Ebenezer Church of God in Christ in Berkeley, California. I wasn't there. I might would have been there. Was there for the second one, but I wasn't, and I never knew that bothered her, or that she paid any attention to that, or that she was old enough to even comprehend that. So there was a lot of things that I found out, and being vulnerable and letting the audience see me like that will let everybody know that you can put down the front, stop fronting, and just go in your heart and ask the Lord to give you strength to be yourself.
And how's the relationship now?
Well, Iana didn't fix us because you can't fix a
Right.
25-year-old relationship in a 52-minute television show. We've had incidences and blow up since the show. The show wasn't filmed last week. It just aired last week.
Right.
It was filmed many months ago. But we've also tried to, uh, you know, break a little bit of our old habits and try to listen more, her and me.
So, being the youngest out of eight, did your siblings and your family members play a role in when it came to your comedy?
Yes, for sure.
How so?
Well, I have 7 brothers and sisters. They're all different, and I'm not the funniest one in my family. I'm just the one who found a way to make it profitable. There's other funny people in my family. I have a funny family.
So, me being a journalist, and I've always looked up to Sean C. Bailey. I know that you got a chance to work with him on Soul Beat. So, how was that?
Chauncey Bailey, journalist Chauncey Bailey, was my friend and will always have fond memories of Chauncey. He was the first journalist, African American or not, to be gunned down in the line of duty in broad daylight on 14th and Alice Street, I believe, in Oakland, California, just after buying a homeless man a cup of coffee. It was brutal and it was tragic, and I would have thought in my life that somebody as sweet and crazy and dorky and, nerdy as Chauncey would come to a fate of death like that. But he was always one to dig into where people didn't want to go. And he was always like, I'm going to, tell the truth. And that cost him his life.
So, take us back to your first comedy show. What inspired those jokes, and what did that first show teach you?
Well, I have never been one to tell jokes. I tell stories, and I didn't tell jokes that night. I told stories. But that night, after I got off stage, and which was my first night, and killed it, the first night I met a man who came up to me and he said, you really funny. You a funny little bitch. And he gave me his card and he said, write this down. On the back of his card, I wrote an address to the Comedy Act Theater in the Leimert Park district of Los Angeles, California. And that man was the late, great Robin Harris. And I felt like he anointed me that night, that he picked me that night to tell, that, keep on going because you could, I'm going to pass this on to you, not knowing that, he was going to pass in such a untimely way. So that was what happened on my first night.
Nice. So how was it on transitioning from the stage to the big screen? Because you did your first film with Mike Myers. And how was that experience like?
Well, that was a really long story in the flu too, but I did do my first movie. My first movie was my first and second film were filmed in San Francisco. That's how I got my SAG card. I lived in Oakland, and the first movie I did with Mike was called So I Married an Axe Murderer, and it was before he ever did any of the Austin Powers films or anything like that. And the second film that I ever made that got me into union was The Rock with Sean Connery, the late Sean Connery, and Nicolas Cage. So both those films were filmed in San Francisco, and I'm glad that I can say that since I was, from Oakland and in the Bay Area girl.
And speaking of films, congratulations, cause in 2012 you had 3 #1 box office hits. So how was that experience like, having 3 movies #1?
Which one were they?
And the first one was Think Like a Man, Hotel,
Transylvania.
Transylvania, and the third one was Taken 2.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
Good for you. Good. Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mein, I feel like for the work I've done, I'm not in the, elite or anything like that. I think I'm an underground type chick. I say what I mean what I say. I do my work. Proud of myself. I consider myself not one of the greats, but one of the best right now. And that I've done for a lot of years. I'm still here. People still know me. I haven't fell off. People still, my phone's still ringing. I'm still booked and busy. So that's a blessing. After all this time. Um, even the movie Borat was nominated for an Academy Award. People don't realize that. I was in 2 Academy Award nominated films, Borat and A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. So, I feel like my credits speak for themselves, even though I don't always get a chance to be recognized for my credits.
Well, I'm giving you your roles right now. Yes. So with the whole Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter, and you being a veteran in this industry, have you ever experienced a Me Too or Black Lives Matter behind the set?
No, I may have not gotten a role because of something like that, but nobody has done that to my face since I was a young child. And I'm talking about over, 40 years ago. I haven't had anybody challenge me like that.
Okay. So, huh. So recently you broke the net, and I'm sure that your DM is flooding right now. Fenty by Rihanna, you did that.
The Savage X Fenty
Yes.
lingerie model opportunity that I was given. First of all, I just want to say that I contractually have to post twice a month. I don't
Mhm.
post twice a month because I think I'm all that. And it took a lot of courage and a lot of confidence to do that. But you hire me for a job and I will do it. And, I also got an opportunity to be in Savage X Fenty fashion show, volume 2, that is on Amazon Prime right now. I postponed my knee surgery to do that fashion show. I was scheduled to do it in August. I didn't do it until October because the fashion show was in September. Rihanna and I had already met and, decided to do this model thing. And I knew that I would get the opportunity to do the fashion show, and I was not going to
Yeah.
miss that. No. If I had to
So,
crawl down the runway, I was going to be in that fashion show.
so did you take it and make it on your own, or did it tell you, well, this is what you have to do?
No, by the time I did it, I was already established person in the industry. I'm grown, I'm older than her. So that just, helped. Publicity helps.
Right. So I know that you can't say too much, but the sequel to a classic movie, Coming to America 2, without saying too much, what can we expect from the sequel?
You can expect everything. You will not be disappointed. The jokes are there. The tenderness is there. The cast from 30 years ago is there. The only person missing is the great Madge Sinclair, who played Prince Hakim's mother. She passed away, but we reference her in the film. There are other stars that are in the film, such as myself, that were not in the first, but they have new roles, and everything from the fabric of the material, of the aesthetics, the background, the dancers is just as opulent, beautiful. My daughter is a dancer in the film as well. And you're just going to love it. I'm so happy that they put it on Amazon Prime rather than kept it in the theaters and hoped that people would fight the COVID to come see it. Now you can stay safely in your home on your, couch and watch it.
So working with Eddie Murphy, did he give you any advice as far as on the industry is concerned?
Yes, he did actually, but I can't speak about it. It's something private that I'll cherish forever. He actually did. Um, and I want to give a shout out to Craig Brewer, who's the one who cast me in Dolomite Is My Name, and then Coming to America, The Quest, two Eddie Murphy movies back to back, same director as well. And I just had a dream about Eddie tonight, the other night, and I watched the movie that I hadn't seen, was called Mr. Church with Eddie in it. It's on YouTube now, and I think that he has been overlooked for the Academy Award several times. Felt
Yes,
like he should have got one for Dreamgirls. I think he should have got one for Mr. Church. In the black world, he should have got one for the Clumps.
right.
But I love Eddie Murphy. I think he's one of the great people in comedy, and he's so humble, so quiet. You just wouldn't believe where he pulls from to do the characters that he does. So to be, I get the opportunity to work with him in two films back to back. I'd say, I have three directors I've worked with twice. I worked with Adam Sandler twice on Hotel Transylvania. Well, I worked with him three times. I worked with him in a movie called That's My Boy. I worked with him in a movie called Hotel Transylvania 1 and 2. And I worked with Russ Parr twice, A Christmas Blessing and 35 and Ticking with Kevin Hart and all that. And then I worked with Craig Brewer in Dolomite Is My Name and in Coming to America twice. So, not a bad record for a hood chick.
Right. And speaking of on the Academy Award and you being a comedian, why do you think that the Academy Award they overlook on comedy movies?
I don't know why, but I think any business that's run by old white men, is about to be changed up because we're done with that. And we have to
Right.
have inclusivity in women and gays and everybody else that put their input. And so it won't just be shit like Gone with the Wind and, the Notebook and all that that'll win. Some of the stuff that's important to our people will
Exactly.
as well. But even if not, we still have things like the BET Awards, we have the Soul Train Awards, we have the NAACP Awards, and, things like that. Because sometimes you just have to, our people just have to congratulate our people.
Right. So they already had the Queens of Comedy. So who do I need to talk to as far as having a Queens of Comedy 2 starring you? And you have to pick three other individuals to who go along with you. And who would those three individuals be?
Well, that's a very difficult question that I really can't answer. But first of all, I think they would have to pick. I don't know. The Queens of Comedy was a phenomenal tour. It didn't get the juice that the Kings of Comedy got, which is unfortunate. It's already been done, but I do think they could do it again. I wouldn't want to say, because there's people who are commercially viable and funny, and there's people who I think are funny who are not commercially viable. So
Right.
if you're going to do a tour, you got to make money. And so you want people who are funny and commercially viable. So I'd rather not answer that right now, but I would know what I was doing if I did what I could.
What's next for Luenell?
Well, I'm sort of riding the positivity wave off this Y'all to Fix My Life thing right now. I have to go back to LA and do some filming, while everybody may not see me on stage in person because I'm just not a COVID type of chick. And I am not doing any virtual comedy shows for cash apps on the internet. I need to see people. I want people to see
Right.
me. I want them to feel me and see me act in front of them and smell me and everything like that, So I won't be doing any type of comedy unless it's a big, big special and promoted the right way. But I will be doing, television. I have an episode of Power Book 2 Ghost coming out, and I'm coming to America and some other filming that I have to do. So, I'm booked and busy, baby.
As you should be. So you've had a long, successful career. Looking back, would you change anything? And what lessons have you learned?
Um, I don't think it's wise to look back and talk about what you could change because you can't do it. So that's not wise. And what I learned is, like, people ask me, "What's the best advice you ever got in your comedic career?" I think Laura Hayes, the great Laura Hayes, gave me the best advice, and I was to sit down and like shut the fuck up and listen, like shut the fuck up and listen. You'll learn more if you listen than if you're running your mouth. And I think that was some of the best advice I ever got.
Okay, so your shoes are hard to fill. So, because you're a veteran in this game, from this current generation, if you had to take someone under your wing and pass them the torch, who would it be?
Once again, I don't think I can answer that question because there's no way to do it without somebody getting offended. But
Oh
I
yeah,
have I have my favorites, and I choose to keep them, close to the vest. I don't want them to get the big head, and I don't want nobody else to get pissed. So I can't answer that question right now.
right. So before we wrap up, what would you like to tell your fans that are watching right now?
I would like for my fans to, you can't follow everybody, you can't see every doggone thing, but make sure that you check in and on my IG, and that will always tell you like where I'm at or what I'm doing, maybe once a week. Follow my YouTube show on YouTube. It's called Hey Luenell, HeyLuenell. My Cash App, if anybody wants to donate to me, having these engineers so that I can get somebody to hold this camera, not me in my arm. It's $ Hey Luenell, $ HeyLuenell on Cash App. And please, please, if you don't have Amazon Prime, make sure you get in December 18th. Coming to America, The Quest. You will not regret it. And if you are a fan of Power, just be sure to keep watching Power Book 2, Ghost, and you might see your girl. Until then, just try to listen more and talk less. That's my lesson.
Yes, and thank you so much for taking the time out to conduct this interview with me. And you stay safe out here in this crazy world that we live
Yeah,
in right now.
please take care of yourself, and wear your mask. And
Yeah,
Biden, Harris, let them get in. We're gonna hold them accountable, and Wakanda forever.
right. Thank you so much, Luenell.
Thank you, baby. Bye bye.
Bye.